At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too, because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Happy Tuesday morning. It is Tuesday, March 24th. Look at the high temperatures we've seen so far for the month of March. Every single day, with the exception of Wednesday, March 4th, it's been above normal, even some record-breaking temperatures. And we are probably going to continue this trend through the rest of this week, this weekend, before we probably start getting closer to normal for this time of the year as we go into next week. Details on that a little bit later. Hey, by the way, it's that time of the year. We're getting some beautiful sunsets, sunrises, beautiful spring colors with the flowers coming out. You can share your photos from the free Weather NorCal app, and yeah, you just might see it right here on Coffee with Krueger and the Morning Update. Well, let's get you out the door this morning, and this is a look at your Krueger's Quickcast for your Tuesday, March 24th. Just a quick look at the forecast for today. Temperatures mainly around 50, give or take, for the valley, although a bit warmer. Mid to upper 50s for places like Chico and Oroville. Mainly 40s for most of the higher elevations and 40s to low 50s for you along the coast. So this morning, there may be some patchy fog for some of you along the coast, but otherwise it's going to be a mainly clear start to the day. High pressure actually building it a little bit stronger today. However, it is going to allow a weak disturbance to brush and just clip Northern California later today and tonight, and that will bring some rain for parts of the north coast. Let's take a look at that on Futurecast here, and it can take you through the morning hours. It's dry. So expect the first half of the day to be dry on the north coast, but by the afternoon, chances for showers start to increase from northwestern Del Norte all the way down to the south eventually this evening and tonight into Humboldt and western Siskiyou County. Is it going to be a lot of rain? No. I'm anticipating a quarter to a half an inch in Del Norte, much less than that elsewhere in northern Humboldt and even parts of western Siskiyou County. A little gusty out there this afternoon, especially in Del Norte, Siskiyou, and the mountains east of the valley. And then it looks like those winds still fairly strong even through the afternoon. Should subside here later on tonight and into early tomorrow morning. The rainfall chances, at least for the valley, are very slim. We're bumping that chance up on Monday about 20% and probably a much higher chance by the time we get to Tuesday of next week. And that's really across the board. Everyone's going to see that better chance for rain as we go into especially Monday night and to Tuesday. It's a warm day out there again. Temperatures well above normal. Low, maybe some mid 80s in the valley, mainly 70s in the mountains and mid to upper 60s for the coast. Now for tonight, low to mid 50s in the valley, and we're going to be talking about temperatures generally in the 30s, even some 40s for the higher elevations and mid 40s for you along the coast. All right, let's take a look at that 7-day outlook for the valley. It's going to stay around 80 or more. Although Thursday, a bit of a dip in those temperatures by really Wednesday, Thursday, around the upper 70s, about 80, and a little bit warmer by the end of the week. And then you'll start to notice that drop in the temperatures Monday. Now, Monday, I've also got a chance for showers as early as Monday for the coast, inland, and even Trinity County. But it's going to be mainly Monday night into Tuesday that I think we're going to see more of that widespread rain entering the picture here. And then it'll continue into possibly even Wednesday, Thursday of next week. Taking a look at some of the cameras around the area, Lake Oroville, looks like we got mainly clear skies out there this morning. We've got Jackie Dixon checking in this morning as well. Coming in from, well, let's take a look. Well, that's not the latest camera. I meant to update that. That's not updated. Well, that's too bad. But there you can see Jackie Dixon saying good morning from Trinidad. I want to thank you for checking in this morning. We've also got Curtis Brown checking in this morning. He's saying good morning from West Red Bluff. Good morning to you all. So glad you could join us this morning. There's a look at Highway 99 at Neal Road. Looks like traffic is flowing along there. We've got that beautiful sunrise coming in with that silhouette of Lassen on Highway 44 at Sundial Bridge Drive in Redding. There's a look at Crescent City Harbor District. Kind of hard to see those sky conditions, but there may be a few of those high clouds kind of coming in from the north. The thing is, we've got that clipper system that is approaching. It is bringing us a few clouds, but no rain just yet. Looking at Soda Ridge, you can see some of those high clouds. The farther south you go, though, the more sunshine that we are seeing. For example, off in the eastern mountains, Lassen Park, for example, mainly sunny skies out there this morning. And what we're looking at here is, looks like, yeah, we're starting to see more debris in the snow. right? Because the snow is beginning to melt out there. And we've got Julie saying good morning. Julie, of course, one of our BNI members, she is saying good morning. And I will see you, yes, this morning at the meeting. Looking forward to seeing you and everybody else. All right, let's go and take a look again. Just kind of a reminder that you can share your photos. And if you want to see them here on Coffee with Krueger or even the morning update, which usually updates at around 5 o'clock in the morning, you can do that. Just send it from the free Weather NorCal app and you're good to go. Hey, by the way, Coffee with Krueger would not be possible without Wind River Resort and Casino. At Wind River Resort and Casino, enjoy friendly service, a wide variety of specials and promotions, plus all of your favorite slots and table games. Hey, we've also got Jeff Johnson checking in this morning saying good morning on this morning edition of Coffee with Krueger. Well, it's going to be mainly dry and warm this week. High still about 10 to 15 degrees above average. A few coastal showers by midweek, and really what I mean by midweek is tonight, early tomorrow morning. And then more rain chances possible before the end of the month and into early next week. All right, let's get into that deeper dive forecast, shall we? We'll get you right into it. And we're going to be talking about temperatures still fairly mild out there in the morning hours. Upper 40s, low 50s for the north end of the valley, although a little bit more of a warmer air out towards Chico, mid-50s there, 57 degrees for Oroville. Staying clearly far away from the 30s. We're mainly in the 40s for the higher elevations this morning. Upper 40s, low 50s for you along the coast. So the ridge of high pressure has been building a little bit stronger. As a result, it should be warmer for most. However, there is a system that will clip the north coast later on today and into tonight. But looking at the long range, could we be kicking off April with some wet weather? Well, it's beginning to look a little bit more promising. In fact, we may wrap up the month of March with some wet weather. So there it is, Monday, March 30th. That's actually the second to the last day of March, right? There's that rain approaching by Monday night into Tuesday. There it is, March 31st, the last day of March. Look at that, some decent rain heading our way. Then another one coming in behind that to start off April with some wet weather, and that may even linger on into Thursday of next week as it starts to kind of wrap itself up, and maybe even some fairly low snow levels, at least for this time of the year. We'll be fine-tuning those details as we get closer to next week, but let's take a look at what we expect here for today. Now, as we go through the afternoon, we can see the dry conditions, plenty of sunshine for most of Northern California. But you see this Clipper system, that's going to be pushing through late this afternoon and evening. We start to see the rain. Now, most of it's going to be in Del Norte, northern Humboldt. Some of those will spill over into western Siskiyou and even parts of Trinity County, but really should dry out by tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, midday, afternoon, it will be dry, and we're going to keep it dry for the rest of the week. Now, at times, there will be a few clouds pushing on through, and the winds are also going to be a little gusty off and on through the rest of the week as well. But there you can see just a couple of those passing clouds for Friday afternoon, but dry conditions. Now, I think Futurecast way overdoing it for Crescent City. In fact, the latest forecast model data now saying 1.3 inches of rain in Crescent City. Don't think we're going to get anywhere near that, actually. Let's take a look at a different forecast model. But again, this is doing a pretty good representation everywhere else. Probably overdoing it even for Garberville and maybe about 1/10 of an inch or so out towards Eureka. We may see a trace to a few hundreds here and there for some of the inland areas, especially for central and northern Humboldt, maybe even western parts of Siskiyou County as well. Here's a different forecast model, and I tend to agree with this one a little bit more. I'd say about 1/2 of an inch, give or take, for parts of Del Norte County. That's still a pretty decent amount of rainfall, but you can see it really starts to drop off as you start getting out of Del Norte County, and of course, no rainfall anywhere else outside of western Siskiyou, Humboldt, and even parts of Trinity County as well. The winds, as I mentioned, they'll be picking up this afternoon, especially to the north and east of the valley. Could see gusts upwards of 25, 30 miles an hour. A little gusty along the coast. A little breezy for those of you in the valley as well, coming in from the south. Maybe a little bit more breezy, especially for the north end of the valley. Tomorrow around midday, coast, and even some gusty winds off over the eastern mountains. Then we go into Thursday. Look at this. The winds upwards of 25, over 30 miles per hour from the north in the valley. Not as bad elsewhere, but still breezy in many other locations. Friday, the winds died down, but still a little breezy. So we'll call it off and on breezy with gusty winds at times, in particular for your Thursday. Now, the temperatures are going to remain above normal. We're talking upper 70s to low 80s on average through Sunday. Temperatures start to drop Monday. We're closer to normal by Tuesday, Wednesday. So it looks like we're finally going to get more seasonal as we go into the early and middle part of next week. Now, as far as rain is concerned, as far as water is concerned, we're doing okay. Yes, the snowpack certainly could be better, and that snowpack is certainly melting much faster than it typically does as well because it has been so unseasonably warm, but those lake levels could not be any better. I don't think anyone could complain about those lake levels at this point. The wave heights are expected to increase. There's a small crowd advisory today until 11 o'clock. Actually, it starts at 11 o'clock, and then that may eventually be upgraded to a gale warning. There is a gale advisory for this evening, tonight, and into tomorrow. There's a marine forecast for your Tuesday. South winds at about 10 to 15 knots, waves from the northwest at 5 feet at 11 seconds, and there's that small crest advisory. Again, not taking effect until 11 o'clock this morning. Your neighborhood forecast, sponsored in part by Dignity Health. We've got temperatures mainly in the 70s, and temperatures dropping even more by Wednesday before they start to shoot back up again toward the end of the week and this weekend. For Trinity County, westward into the north coast, chances for showers again as early as Monday, especially Monday evening, Monday night. That'll also be the case for many of the inland areas on Monday, but before that should remain dry with the exception of this afternoon and evening. Siskiyou County, places like Happy Camp, Scott Valley, you could see a chance for a sprinkle or a light shower later this evening and tonight. Otherwise, you are dry through Sunday, possibly most likely dry into Monday of next week as well before we see that chance for rain across the board Monday night into Tuesday. Eastern Mountains for today, temperatures 60s, even some 70s for your daytime highs. Looking at the valley to the south, it's warming up. We're going to get into the mid-80s for some of those warmer spots this afternoon before we start to see a drop in our temperatures later this week, going back up again for Friday and into the weekend. 82 degrees for a high in Redding, Red Bluff about 83, 83 out in Palisadro and Whiskeytown about 79 degrees. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast for Redding. Yeah, the temperatures are starting to drop a little bit here for Wednesday, Thursday, going back up again for Friday, Saturday. And looks like back down to the mid-70s on Monday. Monday, you can just clearly see that drop in the temperatures, and that is going to be the trend as we take you into next week. Dropping back down even to the low 70s, upper 60s, low 70s through next week for parts of the valley. So yes, it certainly will be a little bit cooler out there, and wetter is a very good possibility, especially by Tuesday, Wednesday. Those are the days that I've really got my eyes on, but that may even extend on into next Thursday as well, with the potential for some showers. And I am seeing some lower snow levels by the end of next week as well. I wouldn't say it's going to be chain requirements and it's going to be a big mess, but certainly some snow is a good thing, especially if we need to add more to that snowpack, which it probably won't be much, by the way. We've also got Barry checking in this morning saying good morning. Good morning to you, Barry. So glad you could join us this morning. Well, that's going to do it for us this morning. Kind of a quick and easy forecast because there's not a whole lot going on, minus, of course, some of those showers that we will see later this afternoon and evening for parts of the North Coast, in particular Del Norte, northern Humboldt, western Siskiyou, and some of that even spilling over in the form of a stray sprinkle or light shower for parts of Trinity County as well. But everyone else should be looking at dry conditions all the way through the weekend, early next week, before we see that better chance for rain by Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. That's going to do it for us this morning. Have yourselves a great rest of your day. We'll see you again tomorrow morning right here on Coffee with Krueger at 6:30. Have a great day.